Hey, this is going to be a quick video on how to make a spec or an outline. Think of this as like a, almost a business plan. No, it's not a business plan. It's like a spec for an overview, a plan, diagram, whatever, for a new web app. So the sample that I think will be really easy and able to follow along is like I'm doing a house remodel and I want my contractor to like track all the expenses. So and myself track the expenses for the things I buy, and I want to understand like what I spent on this like little like bathroom remodel or whatever. So what I want is a simple place for me to stick receipts when I'm like on the run. I walk out of Home Depot, take a picture of the receipt, and I'll like email it into this app and it'll get stored for me. Same for my contractor. I'll give him like an address book entry for an email address. He'll be able to just like buy stuff wherever he goes and email a copy of the receipt off, and then we'll have it all like tracked in one place and I can just quickly do the data entry. Okay, so that's the app idea. Super simple. I'm probably actually going to use it. So how I like to do this is just simple bullets. I'm going to start out receipt tracker, give this a little name. And I like to start with the like data stuff. And the way I think of this is kind of like a spreadsheet. So I've got like a sheet. Your database is organized in tables and columns, just like a spreadsheet is organized in sheets and columns. So think of it like this in your head. You've got different sheets that can organize data in columns. It's kind of rigid. You can have as many columns as you want. You can put whatever you want in the columns. Receipt photos might look like this. You might have like a vendor name, address, phone, order number, what you bought, all that kind of stuff. So that's what's in the receipt. So let's just start typing stuff. So I might have like a receipt, and it might have, I like actual bullets. It might have like a merchant name. It might have like an address. I don't want to track that stuff. It'll have like a date. Date is too generic of a name, so we're going to say like transaction date. Probably the amount. Amount is probably too generic. Databases also don't like storing decimals. This is like an implementation detail sort of, but I like to do amount cents. It's a nice solid number, whole number. A quick aside on numbers, decimals, floating point math, and money. The general consensus is use cents, do whole number math, and you won't have to worry about screwing up your math. The reason is because you get things like, if I've got $1 and I want to take 10% of it, in floating point math on a computer, you end up with weird, like it doesn't equal 0.10, it equals 0.09999 with a million nines. You get weird stuff like that with floating point math with computers. So you can read lots of stuff about it. Generally, I think what you'll see in pretty much any like tutorial doing money stuff is just use cents and put helpers for dollars or whatever. All right, back to it. So you might have a receipt. The receipt is probably going to have like which project is this attached to. There could be multiple projects. Those might as well be another data structure. We'll have receipts, we'll have projects. I'm going to pluralize these. Let's make this a heading. So we'll have receipts, projects. Project will have like a name. That might be it. Description. What else is in here? Users? We're going to have logins? Yeah. You can call your users whatever you want. These are going to be people that can like log in and do stuff. I like users. The default stuff is probably going to be like email, password. This is all going to be like generated from a auth library. We don't need to spell this stuff all out. What else? We'll have photos of the receipts. I'll put that up here next to the photo. It'll have like a photo. Is that going to be on the receipt or a separate table? photo will have like a public URL, a URL where it's stored. It's going to be stored somewhere. Okay, that might be all I need. Okay, so the pages, you're going to have like projects. Here, let's go down here and write like pages. So the pages, probably going to almost match what we've got up there. We'll have like projects. We'll have like home, then we'll have projects. Under projects will be like, let's do these in bullets also. Under projects will be like projects, Seattle remodel. That'll be like, you know, the show page, the detail page. Show is a Rails word. The detail page for projects will kind of look like that. Seattle remodel. You can write this out in any format you want. You could just write like detail page, whatever. What's gonna be on that? Maybe at the top it'll have like a sum, and then it'll show the transactions. List of transactions. What are we gonna show? Like date sorted, the merchant, amount, thumbnail. Maybe like status. Has it been like data entered or not? Something like that. Like if you've got a photo that needs to have the stuff typed out. Okay. Probably need like a delete button. That might be it. That might be all this app has. Let's do a little bit of technical writing. Tech notes. You can write whatever you want here. How's this actually gonna work? So we're gonna email in, email receipt photos into the app. So we're gonna have like, oh, pet peeve, insert page break. You're gonna email receipt photos into the app. So we're gonna find a tool to receive email and give us a like form, post, JSON, etc. This could be like Zapier, SendGrid. I hate SendGrid. Let's not use them. Some other SaaS. Never use SendGrid. Don't get me started. Okay, find a tool to receive email. Give us a form post. So this will be like, I'm gonna do a numbered list. So like the flow is, how's this gonna flow? Troy takes a photo on his phone of the receipt at Home Depot and email photo to blah receipts at blah. This is routed to, let's just say like Zapier for now. Zapier, hey, caps lock. Zapier gets the email, parses out subject, body, attachments. They just do this stuff and post to us. We have a route like API email receiver that takes a post. This thing needs to store the image and maybe like different email addresses for different projects, and based on the now we can do this with like email receiver question mark. We could put it in the post body, which is not always easy to modify, but we could have like a query param, project equals Seattle remodel, right? So then this project data, based on the query param, it will attach to the correct project. Because I want like an email address. Oh, I could do it based on the email address too. Oh, that would be cool. So like you go register an email address. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do it that way. Based on the receiver email address, it will attach to the correct project. So if I'm emailing to like tracker plus Seattle remodel at my tracker, right? It can like read this out of the email address. The receiver's email address is going to be in that post body from this tool. It's all the pieces of the envelope will be in there. Sender, receiver, all that stuff will be in there, right? So, yeah, then we probably need like a project to have like an email address for receiving. See why this is fun to do? I wasn't going to put that in there. I before E except after C. Email address for, I wasn't going to put this on the project, but once I got down here and was like, how am I going to get the photo of the right project? Because I might have two, you know, if I'm a big real estate investor, I might have two remodels going at once. Or I might just want to like do a bathroom remodel now and 6 months later do another, and I want to like store these because every tax season I gotta put it together. Ooh, this could even make reports. Ooh, I could have like a reports page. This is like, I'm gonna say like future reports. Future. It'll have like year to date, no, tax year. Sum by project. We'll have like this report that can like add these up, and then it'll make me like, I'm not even gonna bother with a PDF. I'll just like, you know, control P it, save to PDF, email it to my accountant. Okay, that works. So again, going through this, I figured out that I want to have an email address, and I probably want to associate the email address with the project. So I'm gonna have an email address field on here. So this is kind of how this goes. You think through the flow, you write down what's the user gonna do. I could have started backwards and just written like, you know, the flow first, and then try to tease out what I need to check. So I'm gonna have like a receipt. Am I gonna store these emails? Maybe if I had done it that way, I would have like stored the emails. I don't know. It gets me to this route thing. I need like an API. I'll put it before this future thing. API email receiver. Okay. So yeah, I'm starting to figure out my controllers. I'll probably have like a default controller for this thing, a projects controller, an API controller, reports controller. Hey, my page now. Okay. So now let's start making this even more Railsy. Ready? If we want this to look more Railsy, this is going to be like the model, and I'm going to have like a field name. I'll do like, this is going to be the column name. Merchant name. Usually you do like lowercase with underscores between words for column names. Transaction, date. This is going to be a date type. This is going to be a string. I don't usually annotate the strings because it's too boring and obvious. But like this one, amount sense, what data type is that going to be? Amount sense is going to be an integer. That's like a whole number. Project. Rails has this thing. This is another model. This is like a database column and a database column. So this is going to be a references. In the old days, you would do project ID integer. But now you're doing references and it automatically sets up the association for you. That's handy. Okay. I think it's probably worth doing a little visual on this so you can see how the data is going to work. Just because this is like an intro thing. Data model for receipt tracker. So if I think of it like a spreadsheet, I'm going to have like my projects. I'm going to have my transactions or receipts. What did I call them? Receipts. I'm going to have users. Users is super boring. It's going to have like email, like encrypted password, blah, blah, blah. Don't worry about this. The tool's going to build that for you. Project is going to have name, description. What else? I'm going to put project at the top. I think it goes above receipts in the hierarchy of importance in my head. It's like the more primary thing that has transactions. So the projects have name, description, email address for receiving. Name, description. Oh, I'm going to use lowercase. Name, description, email address for receiving. You could totally name it that. I like to spend a little bit more time naming and coming up with clever stuff, like maybe, you know, drop a vowel or whatever. Okay, so email address for receiver. We could call this like email box. Email endpoint, email box, associated email. I'm gonna call it email box. Boom. Receipts have a merchant name, transaction date, amount sent, project photo. So if you think of receipts, merchant name, transaction date. How are these going to look in here? Merchant name, transaction date, amount sent, project photo. I'm not going to worry about the association here for this, but this is like an interesting one. So like in, you know, Excel, in Sheets, you've got like a Home Depot purchase. You've got like a date of 5/1/21, and then amount sent is like, I don't know, $900. Okay. Now in here, we've got data types too. So if I format this as a number, imagine these are like your column types or whatever in the database. We want to make sure it's a like number with no decimal points, for instance. So like with decimal, this in the database, you can store numbers like this with decimal points in the database. They're called floats. In here, we want this as a number with no decimal points, whole numbers. So that's kind of similar to what's going to happen in your database. You can Google Postgres, you know, column types. I think the Ruby on Rails guides will take you through some too. Transaction date, also date formatting, format, number, date, boom. Now it's like nicely date formatted. We're going to do something similar in Postgres in our database. We're going to call this a string column. We're going to call this a date column. This is going to be an integer. This is going to be, technically, it's going to be project underscore ID. It's going to be an integer. And then a photo, I'm not sure. gonna have to either look. We're gonna have to look at how Rails wants to do this. Okay. I think we've got our whole thing. This is like enough to go build an app. Sorry that went so long. I thought it was going to be 5 minutes. It was 20. Thanks for sticking with me. See ya.